Shabbat Shalom, my brothers and sisters in Yahweh, our Elohim, and welcome. Welcome to our Shabbat Bible study. What an awesome day. It's Shabbat. And tonight we're going to be studying Debarim, which is Deuteronomy, chapters 4, 5, and 6. So go ahead and grab your Bibles and grab something to drink and get ready, because tonight our fingers are going to be busy tonight. So go ahead and get yourselves comfortable and we'll get started tonight, all right? I hope everybody had a good week. And now it's time to rest. We've been productive all week long, and now Yahweh has blessed us. Yahuwah has blessed us with his day of rest. And all we should do today is study his word and pray and be with our families and teaching them his word. That's it, gang. Alrighty then. Everybody settled in? Let's get started tonight, okay? Alright. Limber up your fingers because we're going to be using them tonight. Alright. Debarim, which is Deuteronomy, chapter 4. And now, O Yisrael, listen to the laws and the right rulings which I am teaching you to do, so that you live and shall go in and possess the land which Yahweh, Elohim of your fathers, is giving you. Do not add to the word which I command you, and do not take away from it, so as to guard the commands of Yahweh, your Elohim, which I command you. Okay? Our first flip of the night. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. So I'll give you a minute to get there. It's going to take me a minute too. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Okay? Are you there yet? Okay. Alright, let's get into this. Okay, Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. This is Yeshua talking. I did not come to destroy, but to complete. For truly I say to you, till the heaven and the earth pass away, one yod or one tittle shall by no means pass from the Torah till all be done. Whoever, then, breaks the least of these commands and teaches men so, shall be called least in the reign of the heavens, but whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the reign of the heavens. Okay? The Torah is still in effect. We are still supposed to follow Torah. And Yeshua told the Pharisees and the people that we are to be following Torah, Yah's law, as he followed perfectly. Okay? He preached it to follow Torah. He did not come to destroy the law, but to complete it, to make it whole, to reestablish it with the people, a renewed covenant. Okay? So that's what this is talking about. And for truly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, one yod or one tittle shall be by no means pass from the Torah till all is done. Well, gang, look around. The earth is still here. We haven't gone anywhere. It's still in effect. Okay, no matter what these New Age churches and these pastors tell you, we are still under the law. And if you follow Torah, as we're going to see, then Yah is on our side. Okay? So let's go ahead and turn back to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 3. Are you there? Your eyes have seen what Yahweh did at Baal Peor, for Yahweh your Elohim has destroyed from your midst all the men who followed Baal Peor. But you who are clinging to Yahweh your Elohim are alive today, every one of you. See, I have taught you laws and right rulings, as Yahweh my Elohim commanded me, to do thus in the land which you go to possess. Remember what happened at Baal Peor? Yeah, that wasn't good, was it? Don't go up against Yahweh and don't start condemning him and questioning him and all that stuff. Alright, verse 6. And you shall guard and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding before the eyes of the people who hear all these laws, and they shall say, only a wise and understanding people is this great nation. Alright, I hope you kept your finger in Matthew, because we're going to go back to Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. Okay? Chapter 7, verse 21. Okay, I'll give you a second. Okay, ready? This is Yeshua. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens. Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. What is the law? Torah. Torah is the law. Yah's word is the Torah. Okay? I'm just trying to show everybody that the renewed covenant, Yeshua talks about it. And he explains it, that we are supposed to be following Torah. Okay? I'm just trying to go through and explain that to you so you understand. Because it is taught in these churches that we don't have to follow Torah. It was hung on the cross. No, it was not hung on the cross. Yeshua was hung on the stake as the sacrifice for us, to atone for our sins, because we no longer have a temple to make atonement for our sins. Temple's our body, and the way that we atone is through repentance. Okay, through his blood. He paved a road. With his blood he paved a road and brought us Gentiles into the tree of knowledge, into the tree of life, so that we can travel that road to seek our salvation. And how do we seek it? We ask through prayer. Seek and ye shall find. Ask and it shall be revealed. See how that works? We are still supposed to be following Torah. Yeshua followed it perfectly. That's why he was the perfect sacrificial lamb, the Word of Yah. See how that works? I know. I went through all Catholic Church most of my life. Generational Catholic. I know what they say in these churches. I know that you don't have to read the Old Testament. It doesn't matter anymore. Most of the Catholic churches that I was in, nobody even cracked a Bible. They listened to what man had to say, whatever the priest had to say as he cherry-picked this verse out of here and this verse out of here and put those two verses together along with a couple other verses to make up whatever narrative that they were trying to make up. But I'm trying to show everyone that the renewed covenant, what is considered the New Testament, is not new. It is the same covenant. It's just renewed through the blood of Messiah. Okay? Alright, let's go on back to Deuteronomy. Verse 7, chapter 4. For what great nation is there which has Elohim so near to it, as Yahweh, our Elohim, is to us, whenever we call on him? And what great nation is there that has such laws and righteousness, righteous, right ruling, like all this Torah, which I set before you this day, because Yah's word is righteous and true, unlike man's word. Yah is righteous and true, and his word, his Torah, is righteous and true. Okay? Verse 9. Only guard yourself and guard your life diligently, lest you forget the words, capital W, your eyes have seen. Unless they turn aside from your heart all the days of your life, as you shall make them known to your children and your grandchildren. Bring them kids in to the studies. Bring your children and your grandchildren. I know, I have millennial children. They are very difficult to try to get them to study. It's very difficult to try to get them to listen. But your grandchildren, bring them in, because they're young. They're still babes. And if they're old enough to understand what you're reading to them, it's time for them to learn. Okay? Yeah, it's not going to be easy. But Yah has blessed us with the Sabbath for this purpose. So, if your millennial children won't study, if they're, oh no, we got other things to do, okay, so drop off the grandkids, and when they drop off the grandkids and take off, then sit down with your grandkids and study with them. Okay? Help them to understand. We don't want to lose them. We don't want to lose these children. These are our grandchildren and our children. Try to impress upon them that they need to know this. Okay? And they need to live it. Lead by example. Don't follow all the pagan holidays. Follow Yah's high holy days and his feast days. Rearrange your life to follow Yah's ways, not man's ways. Because I know Christmas is the time to spoil the kids. Christmas is wicked paganism. Easter is wicked paganism. Halloween is wicked paganism. Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, that's all paganism. Don't even observe it. Don't even acknowledge it. Forbid it. Okay? And if you want to buy your kids presents or your grandkids presents, why do you need a special day to do that? Just out of the blue go, hey, how about if we go get? Okay. They're not going to say no. They're going to go, oh, okay, Grandma, okay, Grandpa. Yeah. All right, enough on the tangent. Verse 10. The day when you stood before Yahweh your Elohim in Horeb, Yahweh said to me, assemble the people to me, and I make them hear my words, so that they learn to fear me all the days they live on the earth, and teach them their children. See, teach the children. Verse 11, and you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of the heavens, darkness, cloud, and thick darkness. And Yahweh spoke to you out of midst of the fire. You heard a voice of words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. And he made known to you his covenant, which he commanded you to do, the 10 words, capital W, and he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. All right. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6. Hebrews, all the way back to Hebrews. Okay, Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6. Okay, we're going to start in 6, but we're going to read down further. Are you there? Okay, I'll give you a second. I know the flippy flips. Yeah, I know. But this is going to prove a point. Okay, chapter 8, verse 6 in Hebrews. But now he has obtained a more excellent service, inasmuch as he is also mediator. Yahshua is our mediator, our go-between, between us and the Father. Okay, he's our defense attorney. Of a better covenant, which was constituted on better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then no place would have been sought for a second. For finding fault with them, he says, see, the days are coming, says Yahweh, when I shall conclude with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah a renewed covenant. So it's not new, it's renewed, because the children of Israel could not keep the covenant. They blew it. They started worshiping false idols and giving their children over to Moloch and doing all that creepy heathen pagan stuff. They couldn't keep the covenant. So Yah got mad and scattered them. The northern 10 tribes when Assyria invaded, and the southern 3 tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and the Levites, when the first time, when the Babylonians invaded, the second time when Rome invaded. Gave them another chance and they blew it again. Okay? Renewed covenant. Verse 9, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand and led them out of the land of Mizraim, because they did not continue my covenant, and I disregarded them, says Yahweh. Because this is the covenant that I shall make with the house of Israel. Who's the house of Israel? We are. We're grafted into the tree. Yeah, through Yeshua's blood, we're grafted in now, so we are now Yisrael. After those days, saying Yahweh, give my laws in their mind, and I shall write them on their hearts, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And they shall by no means teach each other, each one his neighbor, and each one his brother, saying, know Yahweh, because they all shall know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, because I shall forgive their unrighteousness and their sins, and their lawlessness I shall no longer remember. By saying renewed, he has made the first old. Now what becomes old and growing aged is now disappearing. It's a renewed covenant. Same covenant, renewed. Because now we have Yeshua as our intercessor. Okay, got it? All right. Back to Deuteronomy. Okay, let's find where we're at here. I know that I moved my finger. Okay. Deuteronomy 4, verse 14. And Yahweh commanded me at that time to teach you laws and write rulings, for you do them in the land which you pass over to possess. Therefore, diligently guard yourselves, for you saw no form when Yahweh spoke to you at Horeb, out of the midst of the fire. Remember, they were all scared. Oh, we can't go see Moshe. You better go talk to him because we can't. We're scared. Verse 16. Lest you should do corruptly, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the heavens, the likeness of any creature that creeps on the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water under the earth. And that includes the cross with Yeshua on it. I know a lot of people are going to freak out over that one. It's an idol. It's an idol that these churches have slapped up there for everybody to worship that. But it's an idol. Yeshua on the cross itself is an idol, because first of all, it wasn't a cross, it was a stake. And second of all, how did Yeshua teach how to pray? He taught to pray to the Father. Our Father, my Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Okay? He didn't say you got to pray to me. He doesn't want anybody to pray to him. He is the Messiah. He is not Elohim. He is the Messiah. He is a part of Elohim, like a father and a son. The Son is part of the Father. You get it? But it's Elohim, our Creator, who we're to be praying to. I know there's going to be a lot of contention over that, but if you read your Bible and you understand what it says, Yeshua tells us, out of his own mouth, he tells us, pray to the Father through the atoning blood of Yeshua, who brought us into the tree, grafted us in. It's through him. He's our intercessor, through Yeshua. But we are to be praying to Yahweh and no other idols. Nothing. Nothing. I know. I had a cross hanging on my wall for a long time. My godfather gave me a cross that was blessed by some cardinal, and I had it hanging on my wall until I started to learn what it really says in Yah's Word. And once we quit listening to the priests and the pastors and, the interpreters, and we see what it really says, then we understand wisdom and knowledge. Okay? I know. You can contend with me if you'd like. That's fine. I am not twisting the word. I'm reading it to you straight out of the book. And I'm reading to you what Yeshua says. Okay? All right. Verse 19. And lest you lift up your eyes to the heavens, and shall see the sun, and the moon, and the stars, all the host of the heavens, and you be drawn away into bowing down to them and serving them. See, not worshiping the sun, the moon, and the stars, that's for sure. Which Yahweh your Elohim has allotted to all the people under all the heavens. But Yahweh has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Mitzrayim, to be his people, an inheritance, as it is today. And Yahweh was enraged with me because of your words, and swore that I would not pass over the Jordan, and that I would not enter the good land, which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance, because he got so mad at the children of Israel for complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining, that instead of doing what Yah told him to do and point the staff at the rock, that he smacked it twice, and then he didn't give Yah all the credit. Verse 22, for I am to die in this land. I am not passing over the Jordan, but you are passing over, and shall possess that good land. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, which he made with you, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in any form, as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you. For Yahweh your Elohim is a consuming fire, a jealous El. When you bring forth children and grandchildren, and shall grow old in the land, and shall do corruptly, and make to carve image in the form of whatever, and shall do what is evil in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim to provoke him, I shall call the heavens and earth to witness against you on that day, that you soon completely perish from the land which you pass over the Jordan to possess. You do not prolong your days in it, but are completely destroyed. Okay, so think about when we get into the book of Joshua, how they go in and they destroy all of those people. Those Jebusites and the Perizzites and all of the Zites and the Philistines and all those heathen pagan tribes and the giants, they get rid of them all to cleanse the land. Where are we at? Where is America, the United States, at? We're in the same boat. Because we have forgotten our Elohim, and we have listened to these corrupt churches that have misled and misguided the people away from the law. We're in the same boat. And in Revelation, Mystery Babylon will be destroyed in an hour because of it. Okay? Comparing Old Testament to New Testament. Okay, verse 27, and Yahweh shall scatter you among the people, and you shall be left few in numbers among the nations where Yahweh drives you. And there you shall serve mighty ones, the works of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor hear nor eat nor smell. Okay, now we're going to go to kind of an obscure book, Habakkuk, chapter 2. If you need to, go to the front of your Bible and figure out where Habakkuk is, okay? If you're using a scriptures, we're going to page 628, if that makes it any easier for you, Habakkuk. Okay, I'll give you a minute to get there. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 18. Of what use shall a carved image be? For its maker has carved it, a molded image, a teacher of falsehood. For the maker trusts what he has made to make dumb idols. Woe to him who says to wood, awake! To silent stone, arise! Is it a teacher? See, it is overlaid with gold and silver, and there is no spirit at all inside of it. But Yahweh is in his set-apart Hekal. Let all the earth be silent before him. Okay? We're foot stomping the idol thing because guess what, gang? There is a lot of idols in this country. We're surrounded by them. We got to get rid of that. You have got to get rid of your idols that are in your life, whether they be movie stars or television stars or musicians or your cell phone that you're constantly staring at and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's an idol. Use it for what it's for. Use it as a telephone. But don't idolize it. There's a lot of things that can be idols. A lot of things. So think about it. Have it in your mind and think about it. Okay? Alright. Verse 29. But from there, back in Deuteronomy. Verse 29 of chapter 4. But from there you shall seek Yahweh, your Elohim, and shall find, when you search for him with all your heart and with all your being. In your distress, when all these words shall come upon you in the latter days, then you shall return to Yahweh your Elohim, and shall obey his voice. Yeah, because once we figure out that we are in bad trouble, that things are going down and we are in bad trouble, judgment, then we'll return to Yahweh. Let's do it now. Let's be proactive and do it now. Don't wait. Your life depends on it. That's right. Verse 31, for Yahweh your Elohim is a compassionate El. He does not forsake you, nor destroy you, nor forget the covenant of your fathers, which he swore to them. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before you, since the day that Elohim created man on the earth, and ask from one end of the heavens to the other end of the heavens, whether there has been a word, W, capital W, as great as this, or has been heard like it. Has a people heard the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as you have heard, and live? Or has Elohim tried to go and take for himself a nation from the midst of a nation by trials, and by signs, and by wonders, and by battle, and by a strong hand, and an outstretched arm, and by great fearsome deeds, according to all that Yahweh your Elohim did for you in Mitzrayim before your eyes? You have been shown it, to know that Yahweh himself is Elohim. There is no one beside him. From the heavens he lets you hear his voice, to instruct you, and on earth he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought you out of Mitzrayim with his presence, with his great power, to drive out from before you nations greater and stronger than you, to bring you in, to give you their land as an inheritance as it is today. And you shall know today, and shall recall to your heart that Yahweh himself is Elohim in the heavens above, and on the earth beneath. There is none else. And you shall guard his laws and his commands, which I command you today, so that it is well with you and with your children after you, and so that you prolong your days on the soil which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you for all time. Then Moshe separated 3 cities from beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun, for a manslayer to flee there, he who unknowingly murdered his neighbor without having hated him in time past, and might flee to one of these cities and live. Remember, we just went through Numbers 35, verse 6, about the manslayer and the difference between manslaughter and murder, and how it's to be handled. Remember? Okay. If you want, go back to Numbers 35:6 and look. Okay? We just went over it, so I'm not going to go there. Verse 43, Bets are in the wilderness in the level land for the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead for the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan for the Manasseites. And this is the Torah which Moshe set before the children of Israel. These are the witnesses, and the laws, and the right rulings, which Moshe spoke to the children of Israel after they came out of Mitzrayim, beyond the Jordan, in the valley opposite Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, the king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moshe and the children of Israel had stricken after they came out of Mitzrayim. And they took possession of his land, and the land of Og, who was a giant, king of Bashan, sovereign of Bashan, 2 sovereigns of the Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun. From Aror, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, even to Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and all the desert plain beyond the Jordan, as far as the sea of the Arabah, below the slopes of Pisgah. Chapter 5. And Moshe called all Israel and said to them, Hear, O Israel, the laws and right rulings which I speak in your hearing today, and you shall learn them and guard to do them. Yahweh our Elohim made a covenant with us in Horeb. Okay? A covenant. Exodus chapter 23, verse 20. Okay, you want to flip over there real quick? Let me put my pen here. Exodus 23, verse 20. Okay, are you there? All right. See, I am sending a messenger, capital M, Yeshua, before you to guard you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Be on guard before him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he is not going to pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. Get it? Yeshua, the Son, is part of the Father. The Word. Okay? Let's go on back to Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 3. Yahweh did not make this covenant with our fathers, but with us, those who are here today, all of us who are alive, you, me, everybody who's alive. This covenant is with us. Okay? Verse 4, Yahweh spoke to you face to face on the mountain from the midst of the fire. I stood between Yahweh and you at that time to declare to you the word of Yahweh. For you were afraid because of the fire, and you did not go up the mountain, saying, I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You have no other mighty ones against my face. I'm it. Yahweh's it. That's it. Verse 8, you do not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. Did you catch that? No carved images, any like which is in the heavens above. The cross with Yeshua on it is an idol. It says it right here. Okay? Verse 9, You do not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers upon the children, to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. Teach your children. Verse 10, but showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahweh your Elohim to naught. For Yahweh does not leave him unpunished who brings his name to naught. Guard the Sabbath day, to set it apart, as Yahweh your Elohim commanded you. 6 days you labor, and shall do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servants. If you got a business, your employees. Nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates, so that your male servant and your female servant rest as you do. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Yahweh your Elohim brought you out from there by a strong hand, and by an outstretched arm. Therefore Yahweh your Elohim commanded you to perform the Sabbath day. Respect your father and mother, as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you, so that your days are prolonged, and so that it is well with you on the soil which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. Do not murder. You do not commit adultery. Yeah. You do not steal. Yeah. I know. I've seen it. I've seen people go through the U-check-its and they're just stuffing stuff in their bags. They don't pay for it. Give me a break. Everybody thinks it's okay to steal, and it's not. Verse 20, you do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Don't call the cops on your neighbor and tell him that he's doing stuff that he ain't doing. Come on. Verse 21, you do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor do you desire your neighbor's house, his field, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. Yeah, if your neighbor's got a cool-looking donkey, you're not going to go over and just take it. You know? Verse 22, these words, capital W, Yahweh spoke to all your assembly in the mountain from the midst of the fire of the cloud and of the thick darkness with a loud voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone and gave them to me. And it came to be when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, while the mountain was burning with fire, that you came near to me, all the heads of your tribes and your elders, and said, see, Yahweh our Elohim has shown us his esteem and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. Today we have seen that Elohim speak with man, and he lives. Verse 25, and now why should we die? For this great fire is consuming us. If we hear the voice of Yahweh our Elohim any more, then we shall die. I don't even have words. They thought that they were going to die. Yahweh loves them, and he's helping them, and he's teaching them, and he's giving them everything that they need. He's blessing them with everything that they need, food, water, everything. But yet they still think they're going to die. Verse 26, for who is there of all flesh who has heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking from the midst of the fire as we have, and does live? You go near and hear all that Yahweh our Elohim says, and speak to us all that Yahweh our Elohim says to you, and we shall hear and do it. Yeah, as soon as Moshe went up on the mountain, what were they doing? Yeah. Verse 28. And when Yahweh heard the voice of your words when you spoke to me, and Yahweh said to me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken to you. They have done well in all that they have spoken. Yeah, because they said they were going to go along with what Yahweh said. Verse 29. Oh, that they had such a heart in them to fear me and to guard all my commands always, so that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go, say to them, return to your tents, but you stand here by me, and let me speak to you all the commands and the laws and the right rulings which you are to teach them, and they shall do them in the land which I am giving to them to possess. And you shall guard to do as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in all the ways which Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live, and it be well with you, and you shall prolong your days in the land which you possess. Okay? Chapter 6. And this is the command, the laws, and the right ruling which Yahweh your Elohim has commanded to teach you to do in the land which you are passing over to possess, so that you fear Yahweh your Elohim to guard all his laws and his commands which I command you, you and your son and your grandson, all the days of your life, that your days be prolonged. And you shall hear, O Yisrael, and shall guard to do, that it might be well with you, that you increase greatly, as Yahweh Elohim of your fathers has spoken to you, in the land flowing with milk and honey. Everybody that's in the United States, this country was flowing with milk and honey. It has everything that we ever needed right here. And what have we done? We have desecrated the land. We have destroyed the land. We have sold the land to other nations. Verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh is one. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words, which I am commanding you today, shall be in your heart. Okay? There again, Hebrews chapter 8, verse 10. Okay? Let's flip over there real quick. Back to Hebrews. Okay, chapter 8, verse 10, one more time. Because this is the covenant that I shall make with the house of Yisrael after those days, saying, Yahweh, give my laws in their mind, and I shall write them on their hearts, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Yeah. Verse 7, chapter 6, Deuteronomy. And you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And it shall be, when Yahweh your Elohim brings you into the land of which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give you great and good cities, which you did not build, and houses filled with all kinds of goods, which you did not fill, and wells dug, which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees, which you did not plant. And you shall eat and be satisfied. When they entered the promised land and they destroyed all those heathens and all the pagans and all the giants, they moved right into their cities. They didn't have to build anything. Whatever got destroyed during the fighting, but the cities were there. The vineyards were there. The olive yards were there. Everything was already there. All they had to do was move in. Yahweh blessed them with everything. All they had to do was follow his laws. Just follow the covenant. That's all they had to do. Verse 12, be on guard lest you forget Yahweh who brought you out of the land of Mizraim from the house of bondage. Fear Yahweh your Elohim and serve him and swear by his name. Do not go after other mighty ones, the mighty ones of the peoples who are all around you. Don't go worshiping their idols. That's why they got schwacked. Verse 15, for Yahweh your Elohim is a jealous El in your midst, lest the displeasure of Yahweh your Elohim burn against you. Then he shall destroy you from the face of the earth. Mystery Babylon. Yep. Verse 16, do not try Yahweh your Elohim as you tried him in Massah. Okay, what's Massah? We need to go back and remember what Massah was. It's Exodus 17:7. Okay, so let's flip back to Exodus chapter 17. Verse 7. And he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the strife of the children of Israel, and because they tried Yahweh, saying, is Yahweh in our midst or not? Questioning, doubting, not having faith. Yeah. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 18. And ye shall do what is right and good in the eyes of Yahweh, that it might be well with you. And you shall go in possess the good land, of which Yahweh swore to your fathers, to drive out all your enemies from before you, as Yahweh has spoken. When your son asks you in time to come, saying, what is the meaning of the witnesses and the laws and the right rulings which Yahweh our Elohim has commanded you? Then you shall say to your son, we were slaves of Pharaoh in Mizraim, and Yahweh brought us out of Mizraim with a strong hand. And Yahweh sent signs and wonders great and grievous upon Mizraim, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from there to bring us in, to give us the land of which he swore to our fathers. And Yahweh commanded us to do all these laws, to fear Yahweh our Elohim for our good always, to keep us alive. And it is as it is today. And it is righteousness for us when we guard to do all this command before Yahweh our Elohim as he commanded us. Okay? And that ends chapter 6. I know. Pretty strong word. Deuteronomy is just reviewing what we've already gone through. So there's going to be some flips. We're going to be flipping here. We're going to be flipping there. Also, we need to confirm and solidify that the covenant is still in effect. That we are still supposed to be following Torah. Yeshua tells us that we should be. But nobody does. Or very, very few. There's a few people. I encounter people that do follow Torah. But there's not very many. And there's not very many believers at all. Especially the millennials. The millennials don't have any faith. And it's not because we didn't try to teach them. Even growing up Catholic, I tried to teach my children about Yahweh. I tried. The only one that really took to it was my youngest. And she struggles, but we all do. We all struggle. That's part of life. There are days I'm not righteous. There are days that I wake up and I'm terrible. I'm awful. I have a lousy attitude, and I stomp around, and I do all kinds of blech things, and I think all kinds of blech things, and I'm awful. But with the help of His Word, with the help of the law and Yahweh, knowing that He loves us, and He just wants the best for us. That's why He gave us His law. He wants the best for us. And it helps me a lot. And I pray that it helps you. And then there are days where I feel awesome. Where I'm ready to just take on everything and everybody and just spread the word and help others to try to find Yah, to try to draw them closer to Yah, to try to do what is right to save themselves. Yeah, it's both. I'm not a righteous man, but I try. I try to the best of my broken ability. I try. I read Yah's Word. I'm in His Word. I pray. I pray and I pray and I pray. And He answers my prayers. He'll answer yours too. And if you ask and if you seek truth and righteousness, Yahweh will show you. You need to teach your children. You need to teach your grandchildren. We can't lose them, folks. We can't lose them. Yahweh loves us all. And He wants the best for us. That's why He sent His Word. That's why He sent Yeshua. Is to come here and to show us the way. The way. Not Catholic, not Mormon, not Baptist, not Lutheran, not any denomination. The way. His way. That's what we need to follow. What His Word says. That's what we need. And that's what will save us. And Yeshua shedding His blood for us as our intercessor, as our Messiah, beautiful Messiah, our Father's Son. Think about that for a minute. Yahweh commanded Abraham to sacrifice his beloved son Isaac on an altar. Commanded him to do it. And Abraham was going to do it. He had the knife in his hand. He was ready to rock. And Yahweh stopped him at the last minute and gave him a ram in place of Isaac to test him, to test his ability to follow. That's right, his faith. And then Yahweh sacrificed His own Son the same way for us, for all of us, so that we can seek our salvation. We're of the children of Japheth. We're not of the children of Shem. And thank Yah, we're not of the children of Ham. They're a mess. Wow. Watch your back, gang, because Yeah, Ishmael's within our gates, and this is going to start getting real ugly, so watch your backs. Follow the word. Follow the word. We have been grafted into the tree of life. We are now Yisrael. Let's act like it. Okay? All right, that's all I got for you tonight. I know it's strong, it's powerful, and it's in your face, but it's in all of our faces. Mine too. That's why I am so convicted. Okay? All right, gang. Thank you for joining me tonight on this study as we continue our journey through the Torah. Okay? Through Deuteronomy. It's the last book of the Torah. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all have a blessed Shabbat. And bless those that are around you. Make them just relax. My grandson is finally getting into the swing of it. Today he told me, I hope my dad doesn't pick me up tonight because I just want to spend the Sabbath with you and Granny. I said, really? And what do you want to do? I just want to relax and learn and hear what you have to say. Really? You don't want to go play or anything like that? Nah, I just want to just relax and talk to Yah. Whoa, okay, that sounds wonderful. Then his old man came and picked him up. Yeah. Okay, anyway, enough about me. I'm a nobody. I am a nobody. I am a guy who reads the Bible and tries the best I can. That's all any of us can do. But pray and teach our children and teach our grandchildren. That's all we've got. That's our blood. That's our flesh and bone. We don't want to lose them. All right, y'all. Have a great Shabbat. Yah bless each and every one of you. Hallelujah. Praise Yah, our Elohim, our beautiful, awesome Abba Father. And we will see you on Monday for our next extra canonical, which is jam-packed with excitement. It's crazy. There's all kinds of stuff going on there. Battles with giants and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, we'll see you on Monday for our next extra canonical study. In the meantime, you all have a great Shabbat. Shalom.